when I do this move, they have to move the knight. I'm going to trade these. And now we get into this position. Notice how the pawns in the center are on dark squares. That makes my bishop a good bishop. For my opponent, they were left with the bad bishop. And he's taking care of that. Okay. Now, they have to be careful. Okay. Still, should I do this? No. Now, be careful. I'm doing rook takes followed by knight h6. That's a nice tactic. But he saw it. Hello guys, in this quick lesson I'm just going to be playing two games, one on chess.com, the other one on Lichess. And interestingly enough, at this point I'm about 2400 on both websites. So we're gonna see more or less the difference between one and the other. Hopefully we get opponents in that rating bracket. And I wanted to make this lesson about the Czech Pirc. And I know that a lot of you have said I haven't played it in a long time. Well, hopefully this gives you some new material on that opening. So I'm going to start here on chess.com. I'm going to hit 3-2. I know that we like to have more time to explain the moves and so on, but this is just additional, and I think we're gonna have time with the increment to actually talk about the moves. Now, notice that I started here with the white pieces, so I'm just going to do d3. I know the Czech Pirc is with the black pieces, but I talked on lesson number 53 that you could also do it with the white pieces. So let me just go here and at f3. Now, when I play on Lichess, maybe we get the black pieces and you could see it with the black pieces. So if not, I'm gonna keep playing until we get the white pieces. So we're playing here someone who is 2180. It's gonna be definitely a good opponent to test these against. So far, for those of you who are new to the channel, this is what we learned on lesson number 51. And guys, here look, queen a4, which is the idea that we talked about back then, doesn't really make sense. So I'm just going to skip that and put my pawn on e4. I do not even have to prepare this e4 because the pawn is not on d5. So this is even easier. From here, all I need to do is develop my pieces, like the bishop goes to e2, I castle, and so on. Now, one thing that I didn't mention it back then is that I taught you guys this opening on lesson number 51 as something for you to simply get out of the opening safely, get to the middle game. I didn't want you to be, at that point in the course, I didn't want you to be just memorizing a lot of theory and so on. So it didn't make sense for us to learn something like the Sicilian defense. It was more something simple to get to the middle game. And that way, we could focus on what truly matters, which is middle game and end game. So far, nothing out of the ordinary. I need to be careful with moves like f5, but not a big deal. If they do it, and if you think about it, we're playing this setup against the King's Indian setup, or even the Pirc, you could call it like that. They have the fianchetto, expect f5 at some point, so we gotta be ready for it. Now, in this case, if they took, I need to be careful with a possible f4. Okay, so now look, they did h6, because if they do f5, they don't want me to go probably to g5 or something like that. So it makes sense. Now I'm just gonna go and strike the center. If you're being attacked on one of the flanks, regardless of the opening that you're doing, for the most part, you want to strike the center. So let's see how he's going to continue. If they do f5, fine by me. I'm just going to be opening up the center so that the flank expansion doesn't really make sense. So let's see. And also, when they do f5, I know that I could do some queen b3 and even put pressure. See, so he's getting away from that diagonal. All right, so taking on e5, why not? And now, okay, so he took, so I'm gonna take right back. Most likely he's gonna take with the pawn. No, they took with the bishop. So now I have two ways to continue about these. f4, so now I get to expand, or I could do something like knight c4, and I doubt they're going to give us that bishop. Now, if I really wanted that bishop, I could do something like bishop d4, and that's the end of it. Now, I like this idea of f4, so they took some time to do f5, so maybe we even go in with that move. You know what? Not yet. Let me just... f5 is interesting, actually. Pawn takes. Maybe not yet. Maybe not yet. Now, Now at this point, I know that we have talked a lot about candidate moves. So bishop f3 comes to mind, bishop d3, knight f3, queen to b3, all of these ideas come to mind. So I think I'm gonna go ahead and, I like this idea of bishop d3. It looks a little bit weird, but I like the idea of putting my bishop on the same diagonal as the king, and I'm even supporting f5 if I want to do it at some point. Now, at this point, notice that this is move number 13. The opening is over. This is more about your middle game. So, okay, f5, we knew what's gonna happen. Now e5, nope, not really. Okay, let me just go, queen b3. So I'm going to deploy my queen, and that way my rook, the only piece that has not been developed, I'm going to bring it to e1. Now, if they take, I'm okay with that. So now I could take with the knight. I could even take with the bishop. You know what? Let me just take with the knight. So expect moves like knight f5. But in that case, I'm going to go bishop f2. And we have talked about this pattern of the bishop being 2 squares away from the knight. Okay. So b6, either they don't want me to take on b7 when the bishop leaves, or they simply are going to develop the bishop over there. So no big deal to me. I'm just going to go rook e1. All of my pieces are developed. So this should be pretty easy now. Pretty straightforward. I feel like the white pieces have to be slightly better. Okay, so now the bishop left. All of these squares are going to be for me to utilize. Now the question is, how do I do it? You know what? No. If I go in there, bishop d5 could be a little bit tricky. Okay, so time to remove that bishop. We know this bishop in the fianchetto is one of the most powerful pieces, especially when it comes to defending the king. So it makes sense to trade it for my bishop. Now I'm gonna be getting an isolated pawn, but I think I like the compensation that I get by removing that bishop. Maybe it's not the best move, but I think I'm gonna get something if I remove that bishop. All right, so he didn't go for it. Now queen e6. No. So what can I do? Okay, so we only have a few seconds, so we have to think, and we have to think fast. Okay, so maybe c4. No, that doesn't make sense. 11 seconds. Okay, guys, so let me just go back here. I need to find a way to improve my pieces. Maybe double up my rooks. Right, now notice that we only have 9 seconds, but we have the increment, so no need to go like crazy. No need to go like crazy. Now this bishop could be tricky, so I need to be careful with that. You know what? Maybe I could do bishop e4, and if they take, I take back with a rook, and I'm already set to double up my rooks. I'm thinking of something like queen h4, combined with the bishop on b7, the knight. It could be trouble. Okay. Now notice that my opponent also has a few seconds, so we both have to start playing faster. Okay. Now should I take with... Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to take with this. Yeah, I don't want my knight to go there and then get pinned. Okay, now... No. Now guys, notice that there's no need to go like crazy. Okay, so now I'm hitting that pawn. And he's taking care of that. Okay. Now they have to be careful. Okay. Still, should I do this? No. Now, be careful. I'm doing rook takes followed by knight h6. That's a nice tactic, but he saw it. Okay. Okay. So rook e6. Now g6. I'm just putting a little bit of pressure, and he knows it. Okay. Okay, so gotta take. No, that was not a good idea. Ooh, not a good idea. Okay, now I could do just check. It should be fine here. Queen g6. Okay. It's interesting that we have played all of these moves with only a few seconds left. Well, let's see. This is looking more like a... Well, I think I have to be better here. I have to be better. Maybe not. Uh-oh, not a good idea. Now checkmate. Okay. Okay, I don't think they have any more check. Oh yeah, they have one check. On c8. Okay, check. 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 Okay, I get some time back here. Now if they get on f7, no, they're not gonna get on f7. Okay, check. Okay, I don't want this to be a draw. So 3 seconds, not a good idea what I'm doing here. Okay, I gotta hurry up now. Come on. We're definitely not playing the best moves, but it is what it is, guys. All right, let's see if this leads to anything. Okay, G7 is coming. Uh-oh. 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 Okay, I think I'm good here. No checks. Yeah, he definitely got in trouble here. All right, guys, so this game is not what I was expecting. It got a little bit weird. Yeah, so at this point, there's nothing they could do. We're gonna do G7, that's checkmate, Queen F7, checkmate, Queen E7, checkmate. Now, pretty sure lots of blunders here. We played almost all of the moves in time pressure. Let me see, at what point did we get into time pressure? So this was, what? Okay, so this is 2 minutes, okay, good. Here, I already had, no, 20, okay. So move number 19, I already had 9 seconds left and the game lasted 61. So you can see that a lot of moves were made into time pressure. So I'm gonna go here to lichess and let's see if here we get someone stronger. If we get someone stronger, I'm gonna get destroyed because this 2180 definitely gave me a hard time. All right, so white pieces again. So it looks like I'm going to have to, let me just fix this. I'm gonna have to play another game to get the black pieces because it's the same thing. But anyways, same setup, c3, knight c6 probably is coming out. And now in this case, it makes sense to have my queen over here because I'm pinning that. Now, a lot of you have asked me, okay, what do we do when the bishop goes to d2 when you're black or when it goes to d7? Well, you could do e4, claim the center. We know that we have to do that. The pawn, the queen are defending, and then later you could retreat your queen to c2. I know, you're wasting a move, but this is the same tempo that they're gonna have to waste with that bishop. That bishop doesn't look on this, doesn't look good on d7, so eventually they have to move it. Now, let me just go here. At this point, I would advise just to bring the queen back, but I don't see any threat. You see, he's already coming with that. So I go back, and I'm okay with taking back. Not a big deal. Okay, okay. So I'm just gonna castle, and then once we finish with this side, it's time to develop the queen side. Now, in the other game, you saw me put the bishop on e3. In this case, I'm going to go bishop g5. I'm threatening to just take on e5. I mean, to push on e5. So why not? Now, look at this. This is what I'm thinking at this point. If I do e5, I wanted to do it with the knight being pinned, of course, basic trick there. But here I like it as well because when I do this move, they have to move the knight. I'm going to trade these. And now we get into this position. Notice how the pawns in the center are on dark squares. That makes my bishop a good bishop. For my opponent, they were left with the bad bishop. So we're getting into this position where if I could trade my knight for their knight, or even better, my bishop for their knight, they're gonna be left with a pretty bad minor piece. Now, question is, what do I do with my knight? You know what? I think I'm gonna put it, yeah, let me just put it here. So let's see. I have a feeling that, I think my bishop is a better piece, but there's a lot to be done. Okay. Yeah, they want to get rid of that center. No, I'll take, yeah, I'm gonna take. And now let me just put my rook on the same file as the queen. Maybe I should have anticipated that f6 because, I don't know, I think I could have just kept the center a little bit more fixed. But let's see. I don't think e5 is gonna happen anytime soon, so these two are gonna be there. I can already see, guys, tactics like taking on e6 if the queen takes bishop d5. Of course, if this bishop is gone. Now, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, that I could take advantage of the pin on that pawn. So let me just calculate first. I could do bishop takes, or I could do knight takes first. Now let me just make sure I'm not missing anything. By the way, we're playing at 23:59, so it's a little bit odd that he missed this. Well. Now take, bishop takes, rook f2. I'm okay with, getting 2 rooks for my queen. We learned on lesson number 65, I think, that 2 rooks could be better than the queen. So if he takes on f2, I'm okay with that. Okay, so I like that pin. I like the pin on that pawn. I'm even thinking of taking and then rook e1 and then my queen. Okay, so you wanna play it like that? Okay, so we play it like that then. Okay, guys, so this has to be better for me. Now I know queen f6 could be coming. Yep. And then he wants to take on d4, so I need to make sure that I don't fall for that. I don't want to go back here because then they capture with a check. So let me see if I can survive here. Now I'm confident that I have to be better here. 2 rooks for the queen. It's just a matter, if you remember from that lesson, it is just a matter of keeping my pieces, my rooks coordinated. So yeah, gotta chop that off. And now, first step into coordinating my pieces. Should I do check first and then get out? Right, let me just do this. So it looks like I'm putting pressure on that pawn, but I don't really, you see, I should have done this first maybe. Okay, no big deal. Right, so my rooks are coordinated. I'm not even gonna go for that pawn. This is more important. All right, so I'm in check. Now we go back carefully. No big deal. If queen c2, I could easily take care of that with my rooks. And again, guys, I know that I said it, but I need to repeat it. It's all about not leaving my pieces on my rooks uncoordinated. Okay, so he's welcome to, okay, he's gonna be taking with check. No, check. You know what? Let me go here. Check. And let me just leave my rook on the 7th rank. He's gonna take, that's fine, I don't mind it. That pawn is not gonna go anywhere so long my my rooks can work as a team. If I double up my rooks on that pawn, I'm gonna get it sooner or later. Okay, so d4 now, maybe? Nah. Now, for those, I know that I spoke a little bit fast. For those of you still not really understanding how the rooks could do much, if I put my rook here, then the other rook goes, the queen cannot just defend them. So, okay, let me just get out here. And the same thing, if I take here and then I bring my other rook down, it's just too much for them to handle. So let me see. He's looking for ways to complicate the game. That queen has to be doing some annoying checks. You see, that's all they can do here. Right, so he's happy with it, with a draw. I understand. Guys, there you could see, even with an extra pawn, a pass pawn, there's not much I could do. All right, so I'm gonna go back to chess.com and let's do a quick game there. Hopefully we get the black pieces now. So let me go here and I'm gonna do new 3-2. All right, so here we go. Black pieces this time. So I'm gonna do my d6 no matter what. Now, we know that the Czech Pirc is meant to be played against e4, but like I said back then, you could even do it in this scenario. It is not meant to be played against d4, but guys, if you have a good foundation when it comes to middle and endgame, you should be fine. So my opponent is taking their time. So now queen a5, I could even implement it. If you don't like the queen a5 for whatever reason, because of the bishop d2, whatever reason, you could delay it and just put the queen on c7 instead. Now I'm gonna go here. It does make sense to me. The simple trick is to pin the knight so that we get this for free. They didn't let me, then plan B, we just claim the center. So, okay, knight b to d7, you know what? Let me go bishop e7. Now here we're playing a 22-82, and notice that he's not even bothering to do bishop d2. It's just not gonna offer much for the white pieces. So I castle, and like I said before, if they just do it, then my queen goes to c7. So at this point, it's just a matter of, again, deciding what to do with your bishop and knight. Sometimes you see the knight coming to d7. Sometimes you see the bishop going to g4 first. In this case, I don't like my bishop on e6. This is of course not an option. So I'm going to go ahead and develop my knight first. Now, do not even bother, do not even worry about the bishop being behind, because we know this knight is going to eventually find a way to get to d4 or e4. So I'm going to do rook e8, my knight moves, and then the bishop could get out at some point. Now this move, I know it's coming, but not a big deal. I'm thinking if I should take and then knight e5 or knight c5. Let me just go rook e8. Now before, it is expected, so we go queen to c7, d5. Now when I see this d5, I do not like to take, because to me it's a better idea. Typically, if they take, I replace it with another pawn, I keep this knight away. But in this case, pawn takes, nah, I think I'm gonna go a5. Now, the idea behind doing a5 is that we have talked about this on the many lessons we've had on the King's Indian defense. When they push the pawn without being, well, in this case they have, but when they push that pawn, c5 becomes very attractive for our knight. So I wish I could put the knight there. This guy is taking care of it. Well, let me see if I could get rid of it. No, he's saying no. Well, let me take. Then we take. Now, what do we do? What do we do here? Okay, now I really want to hold on here, but you know what? I'm gonna hold on. I'm gonna hold on just to keep it consistent here, and I think it makes sense. I just don't like taking on d5. Besides everything else, I'm even opening the c file, and he's in better position to take advantage of it. Okay, so g4, g5. I don't think that's gonna lead to anything. So knight g6. Yep. So I'm bringing my pieces to the king side. That's, I think, the only place where I could do something. Now, some f4, I don't think it's going to be the best way to go. Besides, I'm doing this check and putting pressure on b4, which I need to evaluate if I should go for the pawn on b4, but well, this is a move. It's a very attractive move, even if I don't take. Yeah, I'm going to do it. Why not? And then the pawn on b4 is falling. Now, after I take, I gotta be careful with this discovery, but the bishop is gonna be hanging. The only thing they could do with the knight to protect it is something like knight b1. So I'm okay with that. Now, maybe they do something like rook b1 to justify this and gain some tempos on my queen, but I see queen c5, and then I could even enter to f2. So I'm already up a pawn. I have to say, I don't feel like it's not like I'm winning or anything, but it's definitely something. And I don't see anything concrete for the white pieces. If they take on c6, well, I'm going to take right back, and not a big deal. Now, I'm just trying to think afterwards. So it's my opponent's turn. My opponent is thinking. I'm thinking myself, what should I do? What's my plan? Where should my pieces go? I need to take care of this bishop. My knights, especially this one on f6, is not doing much. So I need to find a way to take advantage of that. Now, again, my opponent is almost 2300. So I need to be careful. They're not gonna make silly mistakes. They're not going to be letting me win this easily. So I need to look for some kind of advantage. Okay, so you know what? No. Now they protected the bishop. So okay, what if I go queen c5? No. Okay, queen b6. I'm just getting away from this threat. Now I see that his queen left back to the king side. Okay, so h4, nothing for us there. Now I need to consider even moves like this. That has to be very interesting. So bishop takes, pawn takes, knight takes, check. I cannot do anything else, right? Let me take here. It'll be interesting if he takes with the knight. No, he did not take with the knight. So maybe bishop d7. The only thing I don't like about bishop d7 is that it takes this square away from my knight, but my knight can always go to h5. Okay, so this is okay. Okay, let me just go rook c8. Should I go rook c8 or rook a8? I'm looking for a way in for my rook. All right, let me just go rook c8. I'm putting pressure on that knight as well. Now, if g5, I'm just gonna go back. Remember, I've told you this in many lessons. Whenever a lot of people, including myself, when we see these pawns coming towards us, we get intimidated and we're like, oh, we're gonna get checkmated. Keep it cool. It's gonna take a lot for them to actually get us checkmated. We have plenty of pieces to defend, and it's not like they have 20 pieces around my king. So we're gonna keep it cool. Now my opponent has 15 seconds. So it's gonna be even harder for them to create anything. Now, I don't want to be like disregarding what they're doing here, but they definitely have to be careful. Now, in the meantime, I'm thinking of, right, I gotta take you, that's a fact. And now queen b2. I'm pinning that bishop, so this might be a free knight. Is it gonna be a free knight? Take, takes, take. You know what, I like this. Give me that. He takes my bishop, I take the bishop. Then he takes on a fate, I take back. And I think I'm still up, and this guy is under a lot of pressure. Okay, so let me just go get away from this. Now d5 is gonna fall. I have a b5 pawn. Okay, I don't think I'm in trouble here. Okay, so all of this. Okay, let me get away. I don't want any trouble, so I'm just leaving this. Okay, this is a free queen right there. All right, guys, so this is time pressure. It makes sense that they're making these mistakes. But as you can see, the opening in all of these games, it have gotten us to the middle game safely without any difficulties. So I'm gonna go back to Lichess. Right here now for the next game, we should be getting the black pieces. So let me do new opponent. This is gonna be the last game. And there we go, black pieces. And d6, regardless of what they do. Okay, so this is more like an English opening. And they're playing fast, okay? So I'm gonna do my thing. Pawn to e5, bishop e7, and then I'm going to just castle. Notice that I did not do queen a5, it just didn't make sense. So you could do now queen c7, and that's fine. All right, so let me just go, now same thing, bishop out first, or knight d7 first. You know what, let me go queen c7. Let me not compromise so early. Now, again, I know I said it at the very beginning, but the whole purpose of teaching this on lesson 51 is offering you something simple to implement without much memorization. I think we're seeing that in action. Now, a5, I see this rook is here to do that, so I need to take care of it. Now, bishop e6. Why not? Bishop f5. Okay, let me do bishop f5. Same diagonal as where the rook is, so it could be useful. If they go e4, that's okay. I move it again, but they sort of seal this this bishop. All right, so this move happens, and one of the good things about doing a5 is that now, yes, they got the pawn on b4, but I got an open file for my rook. Without moving the rook, my rook is pretty much developed. Now, d5 might be interesting, but let me develop. Okay, so finally, all of my pieces are developed easily. I got to the middle game, move number 11. Now we just play chess. So rook e8, we know this move happens in this setup, so why not? Now that rook e8, we have to remember, it comes with the f8 available for our pieces. So the knight could go there like we said before, or even to e6. Now b5, knight to c5. Let me make sure there's nothing here that I'm missing. There you go. So I couldn't do it before, but now that they pushed, I'm going to occupy that. I also said it, whenever they take on c6 with a pawn, I want to replace it with another pawn. That keeps this knight away. Now, notice that up to this point, this is move number 14. We got two open files on the queen side, and I'm in good shape to take care of it. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. Now, again, guys, we're playing here a 23-18. So, oh, let me actually make this here. I think it's going to be better. Sorry about that. So, guys, this is a 2300 player, so they know what they're doing. Still, they cannot just get us in trouble because of this opening is not good or anything like that. Okay, so maybe we do queen b7. Let me think. Okay, so candidate moves. I could do queen b7. I could do queen b6, just improving my queen, hitting that bishop. Or rook b8. Now some e4s here. This might be interesting as well. Now I could also do rook takes, queen takes, knight b3, but that's not gonna offer much. You know what? Let me just go queen b6, and then if they take, I'm just gonna take back. Now queen b6, like I said, improving my queen a little bit more, hitting that bishop that is hanging on b2. I'm guessing they're gonna, oh no, I was not guessing that. I thought they were gonna take the rook first and then queen d2 or queen c2 or something like that. Okay, can I do d5? No. Can I do e4? Can I do knight b3, rook a2? Okay, e4 is definitely interesting. So pawn takes, knight takes, knight takes, knight takes. Yeah, why not? Now I think I'm in better, my pieces are a little bit more active, so why not? I think it's time to open up. Yeah, that's a move. That's a move that, knight d3. Now this guy is hanging, so I might be able to do something with that. All right, let me just go back. My bishop is hanging as well. I don't have time to do that, but now I'm thinking knight d3, and then I collect the knight on d4. So let's see. Let's see. All right, so let me take with you first. So my queen is already open. Alright guys, so I gotta take with the bishop. We talked about it before. That fianchetto bishop is really powerful, so I need to take care of that. So let's see. I don't think he's gonna do f3. He shouldn't be doing f3. Let's see. There are a few things here going on. This pressure on a3. The bishop is also ready to do something with that. So there are a few things that they have to be careful with. Now let me just put this. Right, let me take here. That has to go. Now there's so many pieces being attacked. There has to be a tactic. There has to be a tactic here. Okay, how about d5? Bishop takes, rook takes, rook takes. No. It just cannot be good. What am I missing here? All right, let me just go knight e4. All right, I gotta keep looking for ways to complicate this game. So you see, we cannot deny that the black pieces have been on the offensive for the last few moves. From the moment I did e4, I'm just trying to create some complications. Maybe I'm completely off here and I cannot get anything, but but at least I'm trying. The queen is attached, or attached to that knight. Okay, so I think this should be getting me something. No, maybe not. So I'm putting pressure on b3. I don't think this is gonna happen. And I'm even putting pressure on f2. It's just that I'm throwing so many things that I don't think they can deal with everything. Rook a3, d5. Now you see, I told you this bishop, this discovery was gonna come handy at some point. I didn't know when, but I knew it was gonna come handy. Okay, so I could take with the knight now. I could take with the bishop. Cannot believe this. Bishop takes, knight takes. Okay, maybe that was not the right choice, but hey, only 12 seconds, so there's only so much we could do. Was that the right choice or not? Well, I'm hitting that rook still, so he needs to take over here, and then I could take on b2. Now, it's taking on b2 the best choice? It has to be. It has to be. Okay, so maybe that was not the best choice. Maybe I should have taken over here. Now, I'm hitting the rook. I'm still hitting the knight. Okay. I don't think I'm missing anything. Okay, so get this. Okay, no big deal. Now that's a quick cheap trick there. Discover on the knight. But they saw it. Of course they saw it. Okay, get out of here. And now let's see if this pass pawn could get us the game. Ooh, no. Okay, so putting pressure there. Okay, so either they give us the knights, or we just take here, they have to trade everything. This comes with a check. This have to be winning already. All right, guys, so it's something that I like to do here. Okay, they're probably in Sux 1 already, but I was ready to just take on F2 twice. All right, guys, so there we go. This is, again, you saw the opening, the Czech Pirc. It's not the Czech Pirc because they didn't do E4, but you saw it in action. The same setup against all of these strong players, against all of this opening. So we're doing this, and again, if you have a good foundation when it comes to middle game, your tactics, your end game, you should be fine. Now, I know that at this point in the course, not many of you are, if you have been up to lesson over 100 already, you're not playing the Czech variation of the Pirc. But if you are, there you have, even if you don't play this, I think this might have been helpful for many of you. So if that was the case, let me know in the comments, and I will see you guys in our next lesson.